Hello and greetings from Iceland. Day number 7 of eruption number 12 has begun. Air pollution is still a major problem. And a viewer just asked me if it's the volcano or the weather causing this nationwide problem this time with all this smog over our island. But lucky me, here in the north, the conditions just changed from this to this, which is an answer designed for questions like, should I delay or cancel my trip to Iceland? And it's a difficult question. So I would have to show more insight than the Met Office to answer that correctly. And according to Professor Þorvaldur Þórðarson, more than 300,000 tons of sulfur dioxide have already been released into the atmosphere. So if we don't see any drastic weather changes soon, like more wind, we will be stuck with air pollution problem and smog for perhaps the next 10 days. But not all around the country though, like you see here in the north, where the wind has been in our favor since yesterday. But at the same time, this is getting more and more serious in Reykjavík, where we got the highest levels of sulfur dioxide since volcanic activity began on the Reykjanes Peninsula in 2021. Like yesterday, the 10-minute peak values, they exceeded 2,000 micrograms per cubic meter, and a thick volcanic haze still lingers over the city. And this got so bad yesterday that people were advised to stay indoors with the windows closed, breathe through the nose as much as possible, and reduce physical activity outdoors, as ordinary face masks provide no protection at all against gas pollution. And healthcare centers have been very busy caring for the elderly and those with underlying problems, so the city hasn't been very nice for tourists. But as for the more positive news, things look a bit better for Reykjavík, as the winds are turning, but the pollution will move over Grindavík instead. And the best advice I have now is to use all possible tools out there, if you are already here in Iceland, to stay away from the haze. But it's not simple, and I'm linking to information like weather, news in English, and of course the air quality monitors. But as for the source of the problem, the volcano, it's still going on quite strong. But as for the webcam view this time, that has been this magnet for many. Sadly, that view has been just as exciting as Scandinavian state-operated TV stations. But Isaac's live stream that I'm linking to, he has been active as always, and he was doing a tour this morning. And I have actually good news for volcano tourists, as there are now guided tours available with gas masks included. And I'm leaving a link to tour operators, but it's not as it's complicated to find the volcano. And to those who are going their own ways, I'm saying make sure you know what you're doing. This is Iceland. The wind can change. Things may look fine when you start to hike, but that might not last. And our search and rescue teams, they have way better things to do than to go chase some nonsense. So do the right thing and know what you're doing. And ground uplift has started again. That is no surprise. And I'm sure that no one expected that the inflow source of the magma that controls the flow up to the magma storage by Svartsengi would just shut off after this eruption. But so far we have only a few data points to work with, and we need more in order to start to guess when the next eruption occurs, if the ground uplift continues. And no region in Iceland has such a dense network of instruments to monitor every millimeter of ground movement. And as for my plans with this eruption, it has already been filmed from all angles every day. So it's not as there is lack of footage, but it's still tempting to go there with a new drone, as there are several shots that I would like to capture. But like I mentioned the other day, my car was usable when I delivered it to the shop to have a part replaced, but it came back almost unusable, and it's likely a faulty part that needs to be replaced in Germany, and it takes some time, but it is, however, back to the shop today, and the guys are going to try to see if there is some way to work around this, because I need to get back to the road soon. And I have configured this truck a lot for my needs, and I don't travel light. It's not as I can just take my camera bag and throw it in another car and take off. But if this fix will take some time, I might buy just a cheap car to use until the old boy is working again. But then, it's not the end of the world if I don't capture this eruption. That is just a part of a way larger project where I'm documenting the landscape changes since 2021. So this is pretty much it for now. And our problems now have a lot to do with the weather, but I would, however, prefer to hear more from scientists about this level of pollution, or if it's more than usual. And I will, of course, report on that when I know more. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.